Hey everyone. So, as a lot of you are probably working from home just like I am, one of the things I found is there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing that is fairly repetitive. And so one of the things that I like to do is find things that I can reuse, right? Build it once and reuse it a number of times. What I'm going to do now is actually share a little bit of what I've done in Nintex RPA. So as you guys can see, I have a very simple RPA bot flow here. We have a variable called num to process, and let's actually reset that. Usually that set starts at the value of 1. I have a loop that goes through 10 times, and it does 3 calculations. It's nothing crazy, and there's really not a whole lot of point to this, but I just wanted to show you what happens if I need to do this over and over again during my bot flow. So it's doing a few calculations and then it's writing some value to a file. So if I was to click on play, you'll see that it's actually done my work. Oops, let's finish the bot. Open up my file, and you can see there you go. It's done the calculations, and it's just writing a whole bunch of stuff to this reuse.txt file. Okay, now if I need to do this multiple times, so let's actually copy this, and I'm going to change the color just so you guys can see there's a difference there. And I'm going to go here, I'm going to paste, and then let's grab these guys, copy, paste. I'm actually going to do this one as well. And the reason why I did that is because I just want to reset that variable. So same thing, I'm going to highlight that and slightly change the color to red. Oops, don't know why I didn't do those ones, but let's do that really quick. Okay, so now you can see I'm going to delete my text file here, and I'm going to rerun my script. It's done because I got it running at full speed, and I open up and you can see there you go, it has done it twice with all the same values. Alright, pretty cool. Now if I don't want to do this, if I don't want to do this, either this looping logic or at least this calculate, let's do the calculate logic, I want to put it somewhere else, I can actually create different tasks. So you can actually see at the top here it says new task. That's what we call in Nintex RPA the actual kind of flow, the actual process. So over here, if I click on tasks, you'll see I have my new task. And what I can do, I'm going to create another one. I'm going to say perform calculation. And if I click in here, you'll notice all that disappears, right? But they still have the start and end task kind of actions. So I'm going to go back to my original one, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to perform calculation, and I'm going to paste it, right? So you can see now my calculation is actually done in here. If I go back to my original task, and I delete these, and I'm going to delete these as well. And what I'm going to do is actually say, okay, now what I want to do is start the other task. Okay, and in order to do that, what you do is you go into flow, put your mouse over the flow action, and go down here to run task. And I can do the drop down and say perform calculation. Right, I'll just copy that, paste it here. Alright, let's actually change the color again, just so it's in line with what this looks like. Alright, now what I'm going to do is instead of deleting a file, I'm going to get rid of this and go hello world, and just save that. That way, when I run this script, hopefully you'll see that. Alright, there you go, that was really quick. Open up my text file, and there you go, there's my hello world, and it's gone and done all the calculations, and it's written into the file. So you can see now this hasn't done a whole lot of, hasn't really saved me a whole bunch of work in here, but if I go into this perform calculation task and add a whole bunch of logic in here, right? Maybe some if statements, do some different types of calculations, all that sort of stuff. Maybe even talk to some other systems. Open up a web page and pull out some data, all that sort of stuff. Do some spreadsheet calculations. If it's something that I'm doing over and over again, this will save me a whole bunch of time, right? Because it's now done in one place. And so if I actually go in here and say, you know what, actually, I didn't need it needed to multiply by 4. I actually needed to multiply by 7. Click on OK. Go back to my task here. Run. And then oops. Did mess something up here. But you'll notice that it will actually do all that kind of logic in here, and that way when I go back to my actual bot flow and I run it, makes it a lot easier for me to make those changes in that one task, rather than me having to go through and find all the different places in my original task where that calculation is done, right? So if you find that you're doing something over and over again, or if you find that even if you're building out a bot flow that you think it makes more sense to break it up into more modular tasks, this is definitely the way to go. So just create a new task by clicking on the plus, go to task over here, give it a name, and start building some logic in there. The task itself will have access to all the variables that you guys have in your bot flow right at that time. So that makes it really easy. So do think about maybe even creating some input and output variables for your different tasks, so that as you use them throughout your main bot flow, that you know exactly what's going on. If you notice here, I'm actually using a set of variable action, right? And the reason why I'm doing that is because as I'm going through this loop and I want to do these calculations, I have to reset those values. So think of that as my input and my output variable as well. So, okay, hope this really helps you, because this is definitely something that I'm using more and more of. I recently had to build a bot flow that had around about 130 actions, and you can think about 130 actions in this one screen. It can get pretty messy pretty quickly. So I found that I would break it up into different tasks to do the things I needed to do. If you are a workflow designer, think about building a workflow and you're using a state machine where you create the different states to just define all the kind of logical group of actions for different tasks that you're trying to do. It's exactly the same thing that I'm doing here. Think of these tasks at different stages in the state machine. But you could potentially have them jumping back and forth between different tasks, and I'll probably try to do that in the next video. All right, thanks for your time, and I hope this really helps you guys, especially those that are trying to automate some of the things that they're finding that they're doing manually, repetitively every single day. All right, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to me, and thank you for your time.